All right, baby. So we got Scorpio season in the building, baby. So it's pretty much trying to get balls deep when it comes to what you emotionally connecting yourself with, and of course what you are acting on when it comes to these arrangements, and of course with these 30 days process. See, we just as soon as we went into Scorpio season, we went straight into the new moon, coming to the aspects and of course the aspirations of how we're gonna basically be presenting ourselves, and of course carrying out our agendas and our behind the scenes practices when it comes to our desires, our intent, what we are pretty much secretly are accumulating when it comes to these 30-day spectrums. Of course, what we are going to basically be experiencing and pushing out when it comes to what we are focusing our aim towards to. Scorpio season is pretty much getting deeper underneath the surface about things, not being too not being too surface level, but of course, whatever you're expressing, whatever you're tagging on, you're gonna basically be going to the extremes in these areas, and of course, these perspectives. Also, this is transformational season as well too. So, with Scorpio season here, for me, it's gonna be a whole lot of deep transformations going on. A whole lot of things that's gonna basically be, being let off. A whole lot of things may basically actually be getting exposed to, especially when we get closer and closer towards that full moon area, that full moon spectrum. And being that we got the new moon in Scorpio at the moment, the moon is kind of like actually debilitated here. It's actually sleep here, falls here. So it may have a whole lot of self doubts, whole lot of pent up energy, whole lot of emotional deep baggage that has been previously, accumulated or being accumulated at the moment. So of course, this is pretty much like a deep internal transformation that you pretty much need to go through for you to basically see your way out of that spectrum. And of course, when we had that full moon in Taurus, where the moon is exalted, that's going to be an area location where it's going to also be the extremes as well. But right now, we got like about a few weeks before this full moon get here. So whenever it's the new moon, that's the time to give birth and give life to something new, brand new. Which means you should pretty much, whatever you do on a day-to-day basis, you want to come up with a new way of attacking it, or a new way of pinpointing it, or a new way of actually going after that, so it can basically be a format or a platform that you can basically be able to actually walk on, and of course do your twerk on when it comes to you pretty much accumulating your achievements or your goals or your manifestations. You pretty much already went to the constellation of spring, and we went to the summer. Now we basically are in the fall season. So the fall is pretty much as above, as below, as within, as without. So of course, when it comes to fall, this is where we are pretty much bringing things down, holding on things, sheltering, covering things up, and of course making clothes towards what you pretty much put off. Yeah. So with that basically being said in that perspective, we are in Scorpio season, so of course it's time to pretty much transform what you have, pretty much cleanse yourself on towards to. Also, there's a whole lot of skeletons within the closet that you pretty much need to get up out of that closet, aka baggage. And of course, this is like pretty much a dirty water that you gotta clear up, and of course filter through, aka you gotta pretty much go down that water, go down the underworld, and of course see what you pretty much need to transform. Because if you don't transform your underworld is going to find its way to pretty much rise above the phoenix, and of course transform things for you. AKA, you ever put yourself into a surface situation of, you ever play that girl, you ever watch that movie, How to Be a Player, something like that, and then you see how he pretty much kept, being the player, going out there, doing what he was doing. But of course, in the end, it caught up to him. So pretty much that's what's being said is, what goes on in the dark is going to come to the light. So of course, if you don't handle what you got going on in the dark, it's going to come out in the light. And you don't want to pretty much allow the darkness to come out in the light. For me, you want to pretty much understand that there's a day for the light and there's a day for the night. So that basically means where you need to pretty much separate these things, and of course take care of these things. This way these things won't pretty much be in a situation or process or location, aka wrong time, wrong place, or wrong way to associate. Also, in this perspective, Scorpio season is also going to be the season where you need to go ahead and, of course, take power control over what you got going on. I mean, and also get ready to pretty much, go through that phase, go through that detriment phase. Also, pretty much wear and tear, aka wear it but tear through it, which means you pretty much may basically be in situations in areas and locations where you don't want to basically be, but you may have to utilize that area, that transformation, that experience so you can basically be able to actually get going through your astral travel, which means you're traveling, you're going through experiences day by day, and of course you're creating a shield. So the stronger your shield is, the stronger that your shield will basically be unbreakable, which means it won't be able to actually break that easy. And the stronger your shield is, the more experiences and the more manifestations you can pretty much equip underneath your belt. But of course, if you don't go through that experience, then you're gonna keep manifesting the same things, the same circumstances that you pretty much don't want to pretty much want to face, but you may basically push yourself into a situation of running away from it. And of course, whatever you're running away from is going to keep following you, and it's just going to keep pretty much playing out representations of certain traits or certain examples that may basically come into your light. And these examples are going to basically be what you should pretty much stop be running away from. And of course, if you could just face it one time, once and for all, it won't pretty much keep trying to make its way or catch up back to you. And that becomes darkness and lightness. Yeah, so with that Scorpio season, don't let them dogs out. There's gonna be a whole lot of woof going on. Of course, a whole lot of rumbling. Also, a lot of strong attachments. Also, a lot of detachments going on. And being that we got the South Node of Scorpio, this is gonna basically be the equipment of the solar eclipse. That's gonna basically be, shining a light on it. So it's gonna be a whole lot of demons. This is like it's gonna be a big ass portal where a whole lot of demons and desire is gonna basically be exploded. You may basically do things without thinking. But Mars and Pluto, Mars is like pretty much the fire sign of that action, that orientated, aka the masculine sign. Of course, you got Pluto, which is the feminine side, aka the behind the scenes. But of course, you're going to place yourself in a situation to pretty much being very manipulative, or receiving these energies, or playing out these characteristics when it comes to the areas and locations that you have Scorpio at in your charts. Now, what's going to oppose that and what's going to basically bring the obstacles that you actually need is going to basically be the Taurus energy, the fixated Earth energy, which means you need to pretty much be very possessive towards what you're stubborn about, what you're fixated on, of course, what you are appreciating and valuing, of course, comfortability. So that means you need to get comfortable with your power, or get comfortable with transformation during this time, because what needs to be transformed is an ordinary way for you to be able to actually accumulate what you actually need, which is you actually evolving. Which means you ever put yourself into a situation of, once you leave a situation, once you like have expanded your mind out of a circumstance situation, that environment, that surrounding, that location, that space, that area does not pretty much match or pretty much play out the criteria of what you're in at the moment. So that means you're already gonna be moving and maneuvering into a bigger, better environment, or a bigger, better place. When you outgrow something, it no longer serves you. So of course you're gonna be put into a situation in a space and location where you're gonna be more geared towards your comfortability and your way of assessing, and of course putting yourself out there into area and location that's going to basically best suit you. And that's pretty much goes for everything, even to a circumstance situation to where you're at a location that you don't want to be. This let's just say a job. The moment you at a job, either you're going to use the job or it's going to basically use you. Now if you're using a job, that means you're going to use a job, and you're going to pretty much have a pinpoint and have a structured mind on how you want to basically get up out of that job. And you're going to, every time you're at the job, you're going to put seconds, minutes, hours in that, in towards getting up out of that situation. And the more you do that, you're going to outgrow that situation. And that's going to basically put you into the situation of getting up out of that area and location, or that job that you pretty much no longer want to basically associate yourself, or pretty much to deem yourself into. But it's all about a power thing. It's all about a power and intent thing when it comes to these perspectives. We're going to break down aspects, and we're going to basically get right into your charts and how it's going to be basically hitting for you. So, of course, we got the Sun conjunct Venus right now. So, of course, you're going to have the power and control to act deeply towards your deep desires, and, of course, behind the scenes. But also, the Sun and Venus right now, Venus is debilitated in Scorpio, and the Sun is kind of like detriment, sort of kind of detriment in Scorpio a little bit, because someone express, someone want all the love, want all the shine. Scorpio don't want. Scorpio said, "We gonna have to chill out with that shit this season." Though. Also, we got Mercury trying Mars at the moment, so of course you're gonna have the gift to compromise when it comes to your passions and your motivations. Also, we got Saturn square Uranus, so this is learning how to associate yourself and associate what you have to offer when it comes to Uranus being a Taurus, aka having your own way to offer how you gain comfortability, safety, security, and of course what you value and appreciate within society. We also got the moon opposing Uranus. So of course everyone is going to be feeling very uncomfortable, feeling deeply, we're going to be feeling deeply uncomfortable when it comes to changes and things of that perspective. But you got to transform regardless. You may not want to change. You may want to hang on to something, but this ain't the time to be hanging on to things because the moon is Scorpio, the sun is Scorpio, and Venus is Scorpio. And Scorpio season is going to come transform things for you and let you know that you're supposed to be basically letting that. We also got Mercury square Pluto. So this is learning how to think, communicate, and relate in a very powerful way. AKA, you need to learn how to transform your mind or learn how to transform how you compromise and give power control to certain things or certain ways of conducting yourself within this world. But this is pretty much with the Mercury square Pluto. You learn how to transform your mind, learn how to relate in a new way in a new way of learn how to relate and compromise in a new way when it comes to communication, status, careers, and goals. We also got Mars square Neptune. So pretty much, you can pretty much say this is a prime example of what Kanye West doing. Mars is in Gemini. Gemini, Kanye West is in Gemini, and he has a we got Neptune Pisces, and he's a Pisces moon. So pretty much, this is learning how to communicate about your dreams and fantasies and not be in la la land about it. Feel me? Also, we got Jupiter sextile Pluto right now because Jupiter is on the cusp of Pisces. So you're going to have opportunities to expand your dreams and take full power and control over that. And of course, have a status around it. We also got Neptune sextile Pluto. So you're going to have opportunities to take full control over your theologies and your illusions. AKA, you need to transform those things and those beliefs that you believe. And we got the sun conjunct moon. So wherever you have Scorpio in your charts, you need to go ahead and, of course, act and react and respond towards taking full control. And, of course, plant new seeds when it comes to your intent, willpower, passion, motivations, and desires, and what you want to value and appreciate. Whatever you're trying to manifest in this world, you need to go ahead and, of course, get up off your ass and go get it. Basically, that's what the sun conjunct moon means, which means you're very sure about your actions, your reactions, and how you respond to things, which means you're very sure about who you are when you express yourself, and you're sure about how you feel on the inside. You also got the sun opposing Mercury. Actually, nah, we got this. Yeah, we got the sun conjunct Mercury. So we're gonna basically, well, actually, we got the sun opposing Mercury. So that means our actions and the way we and what's on our mind is gonna kind of like be opposite. Yeah, I'm lying. We got sun conjunct Venus. I already said that shit. We also got sun trine Mars right now. So with the sun trine Mars, you're gonna have the gift to shine light on your passions, your motivations, and your desires. Of course, be very controlling in that area. Also, you're gonna pretty much go to some transformation in that area as well. We got sun square Pluto. This is learning how to transform what you're paying attention to, and of course, how you take action towards things. Come up with a new way of doing it. We also got the moon conjunct Venus, so we're gonna be basically feeling very comfortable with our desires and our love natures. But we also can pretty much what makes you feel comfortable can destroy you as well because we got Venus and Scorpio. So whatever you feel comfortable about doing or feeling, just always remember we in Scorpio season. Shit can get transformed for a reason. We also got Moon square Saturn. So we're gonna basically be feeling comfortable and we're gonna be feeling uncomfortable with how we react and responding towards reality and gaining structure and security in our life. We're pretty much having some conflicts when it comes to Moon square Saturn. So this pretty much means you need to learn how to mature, learn how to feel, learn how to mature when it comes to your feelings and emotions. Learn how to mature. Also, we got Moon trine Neptune, but you're gonna have this gift, this strong gift to feel deeply connected towards your imagination. We got in your spirituality. We also got Mercury trine Saturn. We're gonna have this gift to communicate and of course have structure towards our associations. We'll be communicating about our associations. We also got Venus trine Mars. We're gonna have the gift to value deep desires and illusions when it comes to our fantasies and behind the scenes. We also got Mars square Jupiter. So learn how to expand your passions and learn how to communicate about your passion. Mars trine Saturn, we're gonna have the gift to pretty much be very direct and passionate towards what we are associating ourselves with. And of course, we got Jupiter conjunct Neptune. This is you're gonna have some extreme wisdom and knowledge and learning experiences to expand when it comes to dreams, imaginations, creativity, gifts, and what you need to learn and offer. All right, now when it comes to Scorpio being in the first house, see, it does good here because on your day-to-day life, you're going through this aspect every day. So, of course, the sun, all right, the moon is Scorpio, the sun is Scorpio, and Venus is Scorpio is going to be conjuncting you. So, that means you need to come up with a new way of taking action, reacting and responding, and valuing and appreciating a new way to deeply connect when it comes to your new ways of dealing with your experiences, your passions, your motivations, and your desires, and of course, what you need to basically be doing when it comes to your responsibilities, your work health routine in this perspective, aka first house. Now, your seventh house is going to be where you're going to be basically facing obstacles and oppositions from people, places, and things, or you're going to be basically acting that towards them. Now, your second house, you're going to be placed into a circumstance situation of dealing with some opposing energies, which means you're going to be pretty much placed into a circumstance situation of having a need to come up with a new way of taking action, reaction, and value and appreciating new ways of dealing with your possessions, your money, your resources, of course, your material, and of course, what you can bring to the surface. Third, now in your eighth house, secret people, places, and things are gonna basically be secret people, places, and things that you cleanse yourself onto, or that cleanse themselves on towards you. It's gonna basically be kind of like nipping and napping, but you need the obstacles and aka the oppositions because that's gonna be where the full moon is gonna basically be working in this perspective. See, the moon is weak right now, but Uranus and Taurus and North Node in Taurus has been there for a long time. So of course you need to go ahead and of course use that to make sure the waters is kind of like opening up just a little bit for the water to basically be able to expand a little bit. Now your third house, if you got Scorpio in your third house, this is a new way of reacting and taking action and valuing and appreciating a new way of thinking and communicating deeply about your desires, your environment, your surroundings, and of course what you are associating yourself with when it comes to this perspective. And also this is pretty much transforming your way of thinking and communicating and taking full power control over your way of thinking and communicating, of course transforming what you got going on when it comes to your environment, your surroundings. Is your environment, your surroundings something that you want to pretty much be fulfilled in or want to be around with? If you plant the right seeds, you'll be fulfilled when it comes to the full moon being in Taurus, aka you can expand out of that environment, which means you outgrow that environment if you plant good seeds during these few weeks. Now, if you got Scorpio in your fourth house, by the fourth, you will Leo ascendant. So, of course, you've been a black sheep your whole life. Now, you may basically be dealing with some past um, deep connection of a home, family, and of course, your privacy. Now, you need to come up with a new way of reacting, taking action, and valuing and appreciating your home, your comfortability, your safety, your security, and of course, your privacy, and of course, what you got going on with your home and your family. And the better you plant seeds in that area, you'll be fulfilled when it comes to your status, career goals, and reputations of Taurus. Yeah, but with Scorpio being the fourth house, whole lot of self doubts, whole lot of black sheep energy, and of course, you probably play that role when it came to home and family, a whole lot of jealousy dealing with home and family. Now, fifth house. This is past. This is a new way of dealing with past connections that you had, past deep connections when it came to your creativity, your talents, your gifts, your expressions, your fun, your entertainment, your hobby, and of course your enjoyment, and of course your entertainment and that perspective, and of course things that pretty much brought your inner child or things that made you pretty much feel like a child again. Now you need to come up with a new way of taking action, reacting, responding, valuing, appreciating that, and of course expressing that on a deeper level. And the better you plant seeds, the better you'll be able to have the right associations when it comes to Taurus season, aka the right people, places, and things that can help you out with your gifts and talents. Now, if you got this in your sixth house, you're gonna be basically dealing with a whole lot of jealousy and hate from coworkers or employees or just your health and things like that. So watch out for your health during this time. If you got this in your sixth house, you're gonna go through some transformation dealing with your health, your work, your routines, anything, things that you do on a day-to-day basis, your responsibilities, your duties, your obligations. Now you need to come up with a new way of reacting, taking action, and value and appreciating, of course, manipulating your work, your schedule, and of course, things that you do on a day-to-day basis. They have a deeper connection towards these things because the better you can do this, the better you take care of your sixth house, your work health routines, you can make your dreams come true when it comes to greatness and towards. Now, if you got to see your seventh house, it's kind of debilitated here. So of course you'll be playing. You're gonna be coming up with a new. What you need to be doing is coming up with a new way of valuing, taking action, and reacting deeply, and a new way of dealing with your relationships and your compromisation relationships, and of course how you relate towards other people, places, and things. And you need to be learning how to do that too. I mean, but you were towards ascendant, so yeah. So you're gonna be dealing with that 180 by default. You got to see your 8th house by default. You're gonna have the power to pretty much you're going to have the power to pretty much come up with a new way of reacting, valuing, and taking action towards your privacy, your hidden agendas, your alternative motives, your intent, your passion, your motivations, your desires behind the scenes, and of course your secrets. If you're playing good seeds, you'll be alright when it comes to your second house, resources, material, and of course things that you value, and of course things that you want to stand on and be stubborn with. AKA, you're gonna have the gift to be stubborn by you playing good seeds. Now, if you got to see your ninth house, you need to come up with a new way of having a deeper connection towards your beliefs, reacting towards your beliefs, valuing and appreciating your beliefs, and of course your morals, your principles, and expanding your experiences when it comes to that perspective. And the better you basically be able to actually fly out and expand, the better you can come back in your environment, in your surroundings, or end up in a new environment and surrounding that can work in your favor. Because as above, as below, as within, as yeah, so with that being said, if you have Scorpio in your 10th house is exalted here, it does good here. So in this perspective, you're gonna have a new way to have a deep desire and a deep connection and a deeper way to pretty much pay attention and shine light on private passion, motivations, and dedications based on your responsibilities, your status, your career, your goals, and how you want to be seen. I mean, everybody got a status and repetition. What you want to be known for? You want to be known for somebody or nobody. But at the end of the day, you understand and understand that you can be whoever you want to be, but don't get too lost and too attached to these things. So that means you need to transform outdated statuses, outdated responsibilities that no longer serve you or help you. If it's bringing baggage, if it's burdening you, then of course you know it's something that's not helping you. So you need to transform that. And the better you take care of your responsibilities, duties, and obligations, come up with a new way to basically deal with your statuses. The moon in Taurus is going to have your 4th house, home, family, privacy, and comfortability arranged right in your spectrum. Now, if you got the new moon in Scorpio in your 11th house, see, you kind of like falls here, it does some ups and downs here in this perspective right here. So 10 times out of 10, you probably yeah, in this house right here, it goes through some ups and downs. So in this house and location right here, you need to come up with a new way of transforming outdated associations, outdated acquaintances, outdated people, places, and things that you attach yourself with. And you need to come up with a new way of taking full power control and coming out with a new way of reacting and responding, and of course, valuing and appreciating the right people, places, and things, the right associations. Is your associations something that you can get deep with, personal with, or is it really pretty much surface level and it's not really underneath the surface? Yeah, you need to be very private and hidden with those endeavors, and you need to take actions. And the better you do that, the better you'll be able to actually have a stage to stand on and express yourself with the right individuals, the right associations when it comes to that full moon in Taurus. And last but not least, if you have Scorpio in the 12th house, it does good here. It's a trine in energy. And this house and location right here, you were Sagittarius ascendant. So basically in this house, what you need to basically be doing is coming up with a new way of reacting, taking action, and valuing and appreciating your dreams, your imaginations. Is your dreams good or bad? For me, is your dreams worth having? You need to transform your dreams and your outlook on your dreams and put hope, faith, and luck in your dreams and have a deeper connection towards deeply connecting yourself towards your dreams and of course your subconscious, doing that shadow work and of course making sure that your inner world is pretty much purified. And the better you basically be able to do that, the better your health will become great. Your routines, your scheduling system will basically go real good when it comes to that full moons and the 6 hours. It'll just basically happen unexpectedly because you're in in Taurus. So you'll be able to be fulfilled unexpectedly. Unexpectedly, that's mysterious.